roof is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. It's August the 9th, 2011. Collar sticking up, making me feel crazy. It's big. I mean, it's like a pure big. Sort of a catch-up blog, but also a response to, Carson's video about, what is called, living in a post-family world, about sort of how things change after he, got written out of, the will in his family. It's really interesting considering the day I've had today. It's Tuesday here. It's about 7:42 in the evening. This afternoon I had an appointment with a new therapist who is supposedly, and now I can vouch for it, much more trans aware than my previous therapist, who was probably just more comfortable in the GLB spectrum. Who really struggled with the DSM and where to put me and the genderqueer thing, because I again totally can reflect what Carson says about the fact that I think the binary reinforces a lot of sexism in society and the patriarchy and male privilege and on and on and on and on and on. So I don't identify with the binary. I again have no problem with guys who do. I'm friends with guys who do, and I totally support them in that wanting to be male and the fly under the radar thing. And it gets hard and it gets overwhelming being sort of genderqueer in this society, because at least where I live, it's impossible to be read that way. You just come off, and the new therapist made a great, and I think funny also, example of the skit from SNL, if you've ever seen Pat. You never know what Pat's gender or sex is, and that's kind of how I feel all the time, especially where I live. I feel like in a lot of ways I am just confusing to people, and I don't really care that I'm confusing to people in some ways, and in other ways I actually really give a shit. I'm sorry, the lighting is changing, but I'm trying to make it better. I give a shit just because I'm kind of tired of the awkwardness. I don't want that extra look, and I don't want the extra sort of layer of shit that comes with it. So I had this really great new therapist visit, and we talked about shit we hate and cussed a lot, and I like a lot of things that I like, and I know that hopefully she's going to be able to fill in the gaps that the previous therapist, who I greatly enjoyed, but just did not have a lot of experience in that realm, and the stuff she struggled with. She struggled with the genderqueer identity, and she struggled with the not wanting to put myself in a box, and I've found that post-surgery, it's a lot harder to pretend that it's going to be okay to live in the box for the rest of my life, or to live out of the box, pardon me. Because now I have this sort of mixed body, and there's some guilt that comes with that about not being honest with people. And I've never been a person who felt like I would be here long, and it's not like I want a giant shirt on that says I'm trans all the time, but at the same time, I feel like the people who are closest to me and the people who interact with me the most really should know, because I may be the only trans person they ever meet in their entire life. And hopefully I can give them some kind of positive experience on the fact that we're people and we're normal and the genderqueer thing is normal. And we were talking today about what pronouns I want to use, and in a perfect world, he sounds fine, but I don't like the societal connotations that come with he. And that's where I struggle. I struggle with the fact that he means masculine, he means dominant, he means, there are all these societal connotations that come with being male. Like Carson, I have all the paperwork from top surgery to go and change my gender marker, but I'm not. I can't even change my first name to the correct version at this time because of the legal system. I can't change my name more than once, Unless I get married or adopted, which is hilarious because I guess I technically could get married if I changed my gender marker, but I don't want to change it. I can't change it until after I have a histo, which is now scheduled for the 9th of November, supposedly. Which I'm excited and nervous for. 3 months out is not a lot of time to prepare for having all your reproductive organs pulled out. Not that I'm planning on using them to reproduce at all. It's just sort of... it's heavy. So, yeah, I get it. I get... And where I go, it definitely makes it harder. We talked about how it's difficult because I work with high schoolers, and my core group of kids that I work with are one thing. I'm not totally worried about them. I mean, it's the extension of that, and going on hormones is like, for Carson with the name change and changing your, gender marker, for you, that's sort of your big leap that you were afraid to make, that you thought just because you didn't need it. And for me, the big leap is going on hormones and having the conversation that I really don't want to have with a lot of people that I may or may not have any contact with years down the line. On one hand, I'm like, it's education, there's things you need to know, and on the other hand, it's like, is it too personal? It's such a complicated thing. Like, it would be, to be honest, I think it would be easier to send down an office memo. But I'm not dealing with adults. I'm dealing with high schoolers, and they're very intelligent people, and for the most part, they live in a pretty liberal area. But they do have some sort of, they have some kids that live more in the sticks. So it's hard to know. I mean, they're very accepting. They're great kids, and I mean, most of them know that I'm not straight, and have no problem with it. And I think most of them get the feeling that I'm not really a fan of the female crap, because they know better than to ma'am me or even sir me. Not only that, but it makes me feel old. So I know where you're coming from. But it was really interesting. So I go to this therapist visit. It's great. And then I have to go to the podiatrist. I have to waste some time in between. And they were dumb enough on their intake form to write gender. So I ticked off male. And, of course, she looked at my license, and some older guy, a World War II veteran, was in there and leaving, and he was like, "Oh, wait till she's done." I'm like, oh, great, I'm screwed now. The old guy. I'm in, like, camo cutoff shorts, a black t-shirt, and I have a baseball cap on backwards. I mean, there's nothing about me that says female at all. Nothing. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know what it is now that's keeping me. I mean, I'm thinking it's more my face. It's the fact that I have no facial hair, or I don't know. So he pegged me as female. So then the doctor comes back, and he's like doing the stupid girl names. And not only did he creep me out, but it was just over the top. And obviously he didn't read my chart, or he would have known, right? But it was like this really weird contrast between having somebody who absolutely gets it and having somebody who just doesn't have a clue. That's very much the day-to-day. With interactions with friends, they get it. Like, they do their best to sort of work around pronouns, and they know I'm working on it, and they're not, I don't think, held back or frustrated in that. But then there's like this total other extreme of people who just, that's all they know. And I find that I am getting heed and sirred less and less and less now. So it's frustrating. And I think there's something about being genderqueer that already makes you stand out and already makes people uncomfortable, and they don't know what it is that makes them uncomfortable. But I find that I get that sort of reaction, and I get the stare, and I still get like the lesbian nod every once in a while, which I don't think that offends me, because I think they think they're being progressive and aware. I don't know. I think it's just butch lesbians sizing me up. I'm not really sure. I don't identify that way, and I never really have, but I'm assuming they see me and they see themselves, and I find that interesting as well. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thanks for the video, Carson, and the thinking, and for everybody else, it's like a pseudo update, so take care of yourselves and be well.